99.3 The Fox in the 90s at noon. I guess that would have been 1993. Tweeter and the Monkey Man from Headstones. A song that was originally done by the Travelling Wilburys,
Right.
but then the Headstones took it and made it their own. And I want to say it's my favorite Headstones song that you didn't write.
Right.
Let's put it that way. Hugh Dillon is off to my left. He is the singer of the Headstones. Their new album is called Love and Fury. It's the first album in 11 years. It is out now, right?
It's on pledgemusic.com, but it's released on May 14th.
Okay, there we go. So from it, Long Way to Neverland, which is the first single. I was hoping your management would have sent me in time a copy of the full album so we could have played more from it, but they couldn't do that. I guess snail mail doesn't work as fast as we'd like it to. But anyway, I'm glad you managed to make it here, Hugh Dillon. Thanks for joining me.
It's my pleasure. I'm happy to be here.
It is an absolute honor to have you in because we go back a couple of years, at least to 1972 or something. Maybe not that far, but we go back to the 1990s. We were friends.
Yeah.
I remember talking to you many, many times, and I've only had you in the studio. This is only the second time.
Yeah.
This is it. So it's a pleasure to see you in those blue eyes, my friend. They are blue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, just making
They're not
sure.
the contact lenses.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking my next question was. So Tweeter and the Monkey Man, I want to talk a little bit about that first before we get into anything else. Tweeter and the Monkey Man, why did you choose to cover that song?
I was working at the hospital for sick children, and I would work the night shift, and I'd come home every morning. I think that was 1989, and that album was out, and it wasn't the single. It was at the very end of the record, and that's before CDs, so I'm dating myself a lot a bit. And I would come home, and I would start drinking. And, I worked hard, and at the end of the shift, I'd come home, and it would be 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'd probably drink a six-pack. And at the very end of that record, Tweeter and the Monkey Man was there, and it was a very slow Dylan-esque tune.
Yeah.
And that would be probably when the sixth beer kicked in.
Right.
So right then, it was Magic Hour.
Yeah.
And I thought, that is the best song
And
I've
that
ever
was
heard
the
in my
theme
life.
song for it, basically.
Yeah. And I loved it. And so then, and the funny thing is, when the band wrote that song, or our version, those guys never heard the song. That was me singing and humming it to them drunkenly. I want to play this song.
Right.
And Trent, we've always had that kind of chemistry. He picked it up, and he and Tim kind of had the music.
Then it worked, obviously. Yeah. Now, you've altered the lyrics a little bit because I know you say in it, nothing's illegal in Kingston as long as you don't get caught.
Yeah.
But you also mentioned Highway 99. Is that the Sea to Sky you're referring to?
Yeah.
It is a Sea to Sky.
I had to get permission, too, from, Dylan and Tom Petty and all those guys. I remember it was a big deal in 1992.
Wow.
To clear it.
Got their blessings.
Yeah.
So
and it's still, when we play it, people go off. It's one of our songs in a way now.
And tell us about Long Way to Neverland. It's 2 minutes and 56 seconds. It's, as my friend Dave Bookman used to say back in the day, it's in and out like prom night. and it's a really, really catchy song. How did it come about? How did you write it?
Again, it was Trent. I heard the riff, and this is why I love this album, and I love what we're doing now. I heard the riff, and the lyrics were there in 15 seconds, and it came out so naturally. We weren't trying to do anything. I just loved his guitar playing, and that inspires me to write the lyric, and then everybody else goes, wow, that's good. That's not BS. Mm-hmm. And we had it.
Bang.
And then I'm just trying to record it quickly.
Now, compared to the other songs on the album, is that pretty much where you're at? Or is every song its own individual sort of different?
No, every song's different.
Yeah.
But equally as intense and equally as honest. I mean, the whole record is
Wait. Headstones, intense, honest? What? No, just being sarcastic. Yeah. Sorry.
It was one of those things that it just happened, and it was a real joy. I mean, it goes back to why we got back together in the first place. It was just.
Well, let's talk about that. I mean, who had the original idea? Who made the first phone call?
Well, if you look on our first record, I had gone to high school in Kingston with a guy named Randy Kwan. We were in typing class together. He moved out here to Vancouver, and Pete Bourne, who was in Circle C, wrote Cemetery. Randy Kwan wrote Cemetery,
right.
And so there's anyhow, I was shooting Flashpoint. The band had not been playing for years, and Randy called me, and he was out here and said, "Good news, bad news. Good news, I've got a 2-year-old kid. Bad news, I've got cancer." And I stopped everything, got on a plane, and the Flashpoint folks were cool about it. They were just super helpful. And talked to Randy, and he was dying, and talked about how important those early days were to him, how important the music was, and he's a musician and an artist and didn't have insurance, so I called the guys and we pulled it together, played a benefit, and
Was that the show in Toronto?
yeah.
That was the show in Toronto
And it
last
was
summer.
and it was because of that it just, because then when you're fighting a common enemy, in this case cancer,
Mm-hmm.
all your little petty, shallow BS with each other goes away.
It means nothing
And then
anymore.
you're friends again, and
Yeah.
you're really doing it because you want to. And then to see the fans who are fanatical and supportive, it just kick-started the whole machine. All of a sudden, we had the first song on our website. Been this way for years. We made a little video and we gave it to the fans for free, but it just kept coming. When are you going to play it? When are you going to play it? Are you going to make a record? And
I think the last time we spoke that was our conversation too. Yeah.
and then it just took off. It really took off. So much so that we put it out on pledge.com, and the fans, within 24 hours we got 200% of our goal to make a record. And once the record was kind of done, then all of a sudden, it's exploded at radio and everywhere else. So it's exciting.
PledgeMusic.com is the website, I believe, right?
Yeah.
I know that you went that route. I know that the Tea Party went that route, and I know that Todd Kearns, who plays with Slash, and he's also used to be in a band called The Age of Electric, has
Right.
gone that route as well. What is it, Hugh Dillon, about PledgeMusic.com that allows bands these days to basically fund themselves? Or use their fans to help fund
It
them?
is all about, I was never a king at social media. I've only gotten, to understand this in the last year because of this. It does, more so than just help the artist. You get a real connection with the people who care about your work. And that's what I find to be exciting.
Anymore, or it doesn't have a record contract?
I mean, we're a different band, though. I mean, our fans, the commodity I think we deal in as people, the guys in the band, is loyalty. When our friend needs help, we're there. And that could mean that we haven't spoken to somebody in 5 years. But if somebody calls you, and it's the same thing I think with our fans, they're just ridiculously loyal.
They certainly are, especially
And
the ones
when we
who
needed them back in the 90s, when we were playing every night in every bar in every town in this country, they were there.
Yeah.
After 4 or 5 records.
Yeah.
And so it forced us to deliver. I didn't want to get out on any stage and not be. It made me a better performer and happier with my life. So we just it's just a real it's just exciting at this stage in the game to be here talking to you, hearing a new song. It couldn't be better.
Are you surprised that we're doing this?
Yes.
You are.
Well, it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
This wasn't a plan, and this wasn't premeditated in any way. This came about for all the right reasons. We were helping somebody out, doing the right thing, for a change.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's so much fun and it's so exciting because the songs are about.
Break it down with a tunnel lens, got a long lens coming around. With a bombed out girl skyline southbound on the ground. Some here I don't get, some